No forced nostalgia in a world that tried to reboot itself, full of dark heroes and overloaded franchises and endless spin-offs. A show has risen up to make a difference. Meet Peacemaker. So let's dive into why Peacemaker has become the GOAT of the DCU. So first, let's talk about what made us doubt Peacemaker. So let's be real, Peacemaker didn't start as much of a safe bet. A swingy character from the Suicide Squad, directed by Too Cool for School life-size Funko Pop James Gunn, who described Peacemaker as a
cold-blooded killer.
It wasn't exactly inspiring as the next hero that we could get behind. When season 1 of the show dropped, some of us felt like it was just white noise. And personally, I didn't even see it when it first aired. It was a Suicide Squad spin-off, right? It was hard to be super hyped for that. And fast forward though to season 2, and we're in a newly formed DCU. Expectations are much higher, are bigger, and the title Antihero starts shifting around. And man, did they go ape on the advertising. Ladies' favorite John Cena was doing every show and YouTube channel he could. I saw him all over the place, eating hot wings, eating British food, doing anything he possibly could for the attention for the show. And let's not forget the girl at the gym who thinks you're looking at her, but really you're waiting for the machine, Jennifer Holland. She was also doing the rounds, interviewing late night to get attention to this show, and boy, did it work. So critics ended up giving season 2 a major thumbs up, which hopefully you could give this video. The tomato meter sits at around 95% fresh, which is really high for a DCU show. And yet, fans are still pretty nervous about it. Multiverse jumps, cameos, tonal shifts. Some said it felt pretty messy. So let's get to the real question is, how did this anti-hero change the DCU forever? So I think there are 3 big reasons why Peacemaker transcends his goofy helmet and becomes something great. So the first reason, guys, is because he's painfully human. Peacemaker isn't some perfect hero with shining morals. He's broken, he's violent, he's stupid sometimes, but we see that and we feel it. He has made superheroes more human again, more accessible again, more relatable. His trauma, his regrets, his attempts to be better, they all land, and they all land with an audience who first kind of joined this world because maybe that's how they felt. Critics call it introspective and still goofy but serious. We watch Peacemaker struggle with his own identity. Is he a hero? Is he a villain? How do other people see? And that tension is pure gold dust. It makes us care about the character, and it makes him way more relatable than some of the other characters from DCU or Marvel that we've had in recent years. So the second reason, guys, is the tone of the universe and how he has bridged that tone. In a world of DC giants and cinematic weight, Peacemaker has found a sweet spot. Comic book absurdity and emotional stakes. According to the DC blog, the show's mature tone, dark and weird, feels like you've been transported straight into the pages of a DC comic book. I couldn't agree more, guys. That mix is rare. The helmet looks silly as hell, and the action is brutal. The laughs are loud, but underneath it all, a narrative thread that really matters and gets to the heart of what comic books, I think, used to be about. And yes, the bigger universe does matter too, and it did feel like a build-up to that. Cameos from Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, and even Lex Luthor were hinted in the show. By being funny, Peacemaker managed to feel both fresh and important. Okay, third reason here is because Peacemaker embraced the weird, and that's what made it work. So the anti-hero territory is crowded. We know that already. We have Batman, we have the Punisher, and to a certain extent we have John Wick too. But Peacemaker didn't try to act like any of those. He leaned into the chaos, and humanism. But critics still call season 2 standout. It shows you that when you fully accept the weirdness and the gore and the brutality and the absurdity and the humor, they all mix together and become best friends. You create something really memorable, a little bit like The Boys. We kind of expected to cringe at this, an absolute cringe fest. Instead, we got heart, we got laughs, and we got hero stuff that really mattered to us. And I want to add in one bonus reason why I think it really worked, and that's the concept of found family. If you don't remember, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, every show was piling in on this idea of found family. You had Futurama, you had Buffy, you had Star Trek, you had these ensembles where people relied on each other, where they survived with each other, where they didn't have a place to go back to. And that is another thing that I think Peacemaker tapped into really well. So it kind of captured a little bit of that nostalgia of the found family, but also, refreshed it for a new generation. Of course, there were problems. Nothing is perfect. And even the GOAT of the DCU has blind spot. Multiple reviewers flagged these issues. The first is there are too many ideas and not enough focus. The multiverse stuff, the alternate realities, the cameos, season 2 was way too overloaded. And I kind of agree. Most people are sick and tired of the multiverse. They either don't understand it or they can't be bothered with it. No spoilers for season 2, but at the end, where Peacemaker is left, many people were questioning whether this is actually within the universe, like another very distant planet, or it's in a different timeline, or somewhere in the multiverse. Personally, I thought it was kind of obvious, but other things include pacing issues. Some episodes felt like they dragged on or like they were set up for something else, but never had any payoff. So fans were kind of split about that. Some loved the character arcs, others missed the straight up chaos of season 1. Some people felt season 2 just felt like a filler or a stopgap, setting up the rest of the DCU and movies to come. But even if that was the original intention, I think that Peacemaker actually surpassed a lot of that. So what makes Peacemaker the GOAT of the DCU? Well, we're back to the big claim. He evolves beyond his origin. It's essentially an origin story, which takes us beyond his origin. Season 1 was fun, but largely chaotic. Season 2 showed growth, and we got to deal with the trauma, the grief, and the purpose. He isn't just bouncing bullets in season 2, he's thinking about what he stands for. So that evolution from Antihero, angry but broken, to someone with a heart is something that people can really get behind. When we compare it to other figures like Batman, we're getting something new here. We're getting something fresh. People have seen different reincarnations of Batman's origin story for the past 5 decades at least. Some critics said that this was a grown-up look at a universe of heroes and humans, of gods and monsters. And it resonated with a lot of people, and I have to agree. So he's made the universe matter to him, to Peacemaker, and he's made it matter a bit more to us, I think. Does the multiverse stuff risk complicating everything? Yes. Are we waiting for the Batman 2? Yes. But this has been something pretty epic. It's mixed a personal tone with an epic tone, which gives us a hero that we want. A hero that's wrestling with himself and his past and his place. He's unapologetically weird, and fans got on board. And going back to what I said before about the found family, you take a group of weirdos who individually, they've got not much going for them, and you bring them together and you make them strong. And that is what is also amazing about this show. From eagles to alternate dimensions to cameos that actually mattered.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The show says, yeah, we're here, we're not messing around, and we mean it. Some people are crying out for a season 3. Some people are crying out that the last episode was BS. Regardless of all of this, the show celebrated human flaws and demonstrated that through a lot of humanity. So when you're flawed and human and hilarious, you become very memorable. So what's the takeaway here, guys? So for DC, Peacemaker shows that the future of the universe isn't just mega movies with giant budgets. Sometimes it's a show that dares to zoom in on a weird guy with a weird helmet, with a bird, and proves itself. It proves that if you take risks, tonal, structural, narrative, you can go beyond expectations. Do we think this is in part thanks to the actors? Yes. Or the director? Yes. Did we doubt him? Do we doubt the future still? Yes. There's a trip to take here. There's going to be weird things along the way, interesting things, things that fail. But here we had something surprising, I think. And weirdly, a lot of people have got behind it. So in the world of DC, anti-heroes, where darkness, guilt, and costumes swirl, Peacemaker is standing tall. Only time will tell what happens next, though. So what about you? Drop a comment. Who is your favorite DC anti-hero? Do you agree with me that Peacemaker is currently standing above the rest? Or is someone else the real goat of the DCU right now? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash like and hit subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell. You won't miss anything on the next video. And it also just helps the channel to grow. Catch you in the next one.